Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are back again with Scratch to review the Necrosis element heroes. For those of you who missed out, we did do an entire Frost epic reviews. So go ahead to check out that on Scratch's channel. Scratch, pleasure having you. How are you doing, buddy?
Yeah, doing great, bro. Doing great. I actually have quite a few
Oh,
nice
yeah, you
epic
you seem
heroes
to have
from
like
here.
a whole kit.
Yeah, and I like a couple of them. Like Questa is one of my favorite ones actually from here, and they're pretty
Yeah,
interesting. I
first
feel
that's
like
pretty interesting.
I feel like a lot of people are interested about this thing right here. They are
Yeah,
curious, right?
it's very interesting. It's also I think very underplayed in the game.
Mm,
So people are like not many players played with them. I played with them a lot in when we were able to do the hero reset. They're not the strongest, but they're very interesting because you can build an undead army to like fully fill out the battlefield if you have like a good summon team going on. But there are like very fundamental flaws with summons. That's
yeah.
why like it's not used that much.
So
But we can definitely go ahead with the first epic,
yeah, of course.
who's going to be Zadok.
Yep.
So he's one of the highest damage dealers for as a summon epic. Like if you don't have a lot of summons, you want to build a summon team, he's going to be your top DPS unit. He's very interesting. And before we actually begin, I want to actually talk about like how actually summons work. So
Yep.
he's gonna do a summon as one skeleton. So the summons actually take the stats of your champion, unless it's particularly stated, right? Like, so for example, he deals 100% attack necrotic damage. He's going to take the stats, the crit rate, the crit damage, and the attack from Zadok.
Yeah, so that's how a summons
Yeah.
work. Quite a few people were asking me, and initially I thought that they have their own stats, because that's why there's so many different summoning units like skeletons, big monsters, dragons, and I thought that they might have all their own different stats initially. But then I was
they do
talking
have
with
their
you.
own initial stats too. So for HP, defense, stuff like that, their survivability, they have their own stats. Like skeletons are pretty weak sauce. The dragons even weaker.
Yeah.
And the only one that is really strong is the fair bear, which Charlock has. But really depends on what kind of summon it is that you know. But the damage always is based off of your main necrotic hero,
Yeah.
who's going to do the summon. And this one is actually pretty interesting. He recharges his ultimate energy. He increases attack for every allied summon unit. So if you are building an entire team, oh shit, bro, hold on.
That's fine. That's fine.
Fuck, my alarm went off. I gotta edit that out.
Huh?
My alarm went off like it fucking ruined the shit. Hold on,
Okay.
Let me let me restart with that. So Zadok is actually pretty interesting. He does his ultimate energy recharge, and if you're building a team around him, like you have a lot of summons,
Yeah.
he's going to stack that up really fast. And the only other champion that stacks up is exclusive hero Lulanus, and he actually works better than Lulanus in certain conditions. So he's in some cases he can beat out an exclusive necrotic unit.
That's interesting. It does look pretty awesome design wise though. I like Zadok.
Yeah, attack is pretty nice, 1450.
Yeah, that was nice. And then we're moving to Questa, bro, because I'm getting impatient here to talk about her. You see, almost 1,500 attack, pretty good attack, right?
Favorite epic.
Yeah. She's actually awesome. Like I used her in the beta a lot. I'm using her now as well. And Captain Aura is for arena. You have recovery over time to all allies when an enemy dies, which is fairly decent. And then you have attack penalty 2 on 100% chance to land it on the battle skill, which is very, very nice. Charges towards the enemy with the lowest HP 2, so jumps on their nuker in arena, puts attack down on them, gives you a chance to survive and to slowly snipe that, because the ultimate skill has a very nasty multiplier, 950% attack on a single target, and steals 30% of their ultimate energy and gains healing too, which is so freaking nice.
Yeah, she keeps herself alive, and also she deals that ultimate energy reduction also helps in bosses.
Yeah.
Except for Vortex, I think every other bosses you can use that on. Yeah, definitely one of a kind. I only wish like she was more AoE damage dealer too.
Yeah,
but
I
for
wish.
single target, she's amazing.
Single target is great. I wish she would have been a bit better with the AoE spell.
Yeah.
Tia,
Next up, we have Tia.
the
Tia
heretic
increases
girl.
like her accuracy too. The design is pretty amazing.
Kind of like
And
the
she
cold
also
heart,
has
eh?
like, I'm sorry?
Kind of like a cold heart.
Yeah, it looks like a cold heart too.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. It's interesting. But she doesn't have the damage for cold heart.
No,
It
she
still deals
doesn't.
like a lot of damage. Like her ultimate, the best part about her ultimate is the recharge time, like 16 seconds. So it's gonna go off way too often. So
Yeah.
if you're struggling with somewhere like Rot, who does heal a lot when he swallows one of your champion, you can definitely use her. You can protect your team, and you can also give yourself debuff immunity. So for Rot, she's perfect.
Yeah, very nice actually.
Yeah, and she also has the ally with the lowest HP. She's going to provide invisibility. So it's pretty nice. And then she can cast some heals as well.
Yeah, interesting one. And the damage reduction from the invisibility is pretty nice. I like to use her in the Frost domain. I like to use her in the Rot, how you mentioned, Lady of Greeneries, whatever. There are a lot of debuffs inflicted. You know, she's actually pretty nice to give you a hand of help in there.
Yeah, definitely. Like she I think she was even used in Arena a lot. When I first started playing beta, a lot of people were using her in Arena.
Interesting. Then we have Isitarian.
Istarion. He's weak sauce. Don't build him.
I'm not like I have him and I got him pretty early, and this looks pretty interesting. Summons a dragon remnant to assist in the fight, and deals basic attack AoE damage to the dragon. Okay, interesting. But then he's prioritizing the increased attack on the dragon when he's pulling it, you know, which it's not necessarily the best thing. Doesn't do a lot with that, you know. And then this damage right here is really weak sauce, man. Really weak sauce. If the dragon is dead as well, you're gonna be effed, you know, like 360% attack is so weak.
And the dragon doesn't have that much HP. He will die because they go close to the enemy. Like it's bizarre. Like this guy was so bizarre in beta. I builded it out and I tested him with the summon team, and it was so weak.
Yeah.
It's just surprising like how bad he was.
Hopefully they're gonna buff him for the next season, dude. Joyy.
Yeah, hopefully. Definitely needs a buff. This is a very interesting epic. Joyy. So his design is very similar to Casper.
Yeah.
I wish they use a different design. Like, you know,
They just
don't
changed
cheap
the
out on
weapon or
design.
something, yeah, I think.
Yeah, don't cheap out on the design. Don't just change the color and reskin. But definitely, it's an interesting hero for sure. He basically creates a duplicate of himself, which is like the Phantom Fortune. So very for a summon, you know, it's a very different kind of thing, and he can have up to 3 of them at the same time. And the recharge time of the ultimate is really fast, right? 16 seconds is one of the lowest it can be. So you can definitely have 3 of them together if you're fighting him in Vortex. But the summons in general, they have like fundamental problems. The single target buffs and all those stuff, they affect the summons instead of the necrotic champions.
Okay, so it's buffing
Yeah,
the...
so if a single target heal, like I used to use, I made a video on this thing with the summon team on Vortex, and it was like, I was so frustrated because they were shielding like the, you know, these trash mobs.
Yeah, that sucks.
But he's an interesting champion. Deals good damage.
What about
Zlot.
Zlot? He's a support hero, this one. Attack in all battles, which is nice. Then you have a chance to silence the enemy at every 4 basic attacks. Heals the lowest HP in the team too, which is nice because if you're giving him attack speed, he can give you some nice healing, I think.
Yeah, he's kind of like a quasi healer with some sort of like a CC going on, so he's definitely good for arena. You won't get that much use of him in other areas of the game, but definitely worth building out if you're building him for arena. If you're using somebody like from Frost, if you're building a Frost team, you can use him as a support.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, and the recharging speed, which is AoE, is good for the tanks and stuff. You know, it's not gonna cover a massive area, but will be decent. I'm more interested about the ultimate skill. You know, summons the prison for 5 seconds, dealing necrotic damage to enemies, and then has a chance to put fear on the enemies and heals all the allies in the meantime. You know, which sounds so interesting.
Yeah, it's a very interesting, but the problem is like fear by itself is not that strong, right? So it won't prevent you from ultimating. So you want a control unit that does some sort of like a
Ultimate.
ult
Yeah.
reduction or prevents you from the enemy team from ultimating, because that is going to be deciding factor of who's going to win the fight. But it's a definitely interesting because they cannot cast the battle skill if they have like a very strong battle skill. It won't allow them to cast, and it also like it works like a healer.
Yeah.
And in arena, you have 5 enemies, right? So his ultimate increases the healing by 15% per
Yeah,
damage.
quite a bit of extra healing, which is nice. Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome. And then we have Irma. She looks so freaking awesome, huh?
She is actually defense DPS if you want in the game.
Yeah, she's one of the few.
Her design
Actually,
is very similar to Rowena, which we reviewed in your channel.
Yeah.
So guys, make sure to check that out as well. But she's very interesting because like you were talking about earlier, right? That defense units don't really have multipliers based off of defense.
Yeah.
She is your defense DPS. She can hit incredibly hard, and her base defense is kind of low, but you can definitely have somebody who's doing increased defense, and there are a lot of champions that do that. So you can definitely build her out to be full defense nuker.
Yeah. I like the control immunity and the damage reduction in her kit though. Like, not many champions do control immunity. I think there's only one more epic, if I'm not mistaken. There might be 2, but I have a feeling it's just one.
Album does control immunity. No epic does it. There's a rare that does it. Sorry.
A rare. Okay, so it's another rare that does it then. Okay.
Yeah, another rare that does it, and in legendaries there are, I think, a couple of them who do it. But yeah, it's very rare to have control immunity on yourself, and you're providing it to the allies within a wide range. It's very strong.
Yeah, I think it's very nice for places where you have a lot of AoEs, where they can control you, for example, like in the labyrinth, in the pillar of trials. I feel like they're gonna be coming in handy quite a bit, this sort of skills.
Yeah, even in ancient battlefield where the boss deals so much damage and
the stun,
you want to have the control immunity right after he ultimates. Don't have it before he ultimates, because else he's going to kill you.
Yeah,
he gets damage based off of the buffs.
The buffs, yeah.
So with some manualing, it can work, but yeah. She's amazing. Like I definitely want to build a full DPS tank, and I'm gonna try her out for sure.
Awesome stuff. And we have Estella. Now, Estella, another support champion. I don't think she's one of the best support champions in the game, but she's kind of like average in my opinion. I don't think she's gonna cut top 10. Sorry, I don't think she did it for me. HP for City of Trials. Marks the ally with the lowest HP and increases the healing and shield, which is not great. Then grants debuff immunity and defense up to an ally. Prioritizes the marked hero, which is the lowest HP. And then
most likely DPS.
Yeah, casts a spell, and it's nice that she covers the entire map here, but that's about it,
Yeah, I tried it out. Like, so the way you want to test her is like you cannot test her in dummy. You have to test her like built out in other areas, how this skill works, because it's worded very differently. You think like it's only going to heal the marked ally, but it actually heals. So it bounces. The heals bounces around, like whoever is the lowest. Yeah, it heals them first, then somebody else, then somebody else.
Oh, okay.
It's not the best heal either. Yeah, it's not the best heal for sure. You would think like it's going to have a lot of utility, but yeah, they're better healers.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like they are better healers, and we still have Gladros and Davrik in here. What do you think about this as a support hero?
It's all these support units and summons are like weak sauce. Like it's remarkable. Like if you want to build a good support unit in this faction, like it's very hard. This guy is decent enough, like where you can have like somebody in the he brings like debuff immunity and shields to the team.
Yeah.
And if somebody breaks that shield to inflict like control immunity, like he will break the shield and like provide another debuff immunity. So kind of works okay, but you need to get that ultimate, which is a very long cooldown, to do that.
Yeah. Feel you. Not that great, but decent if you don't have anyone else for this particular faction. And then we have Davrik, support as well, Captain Aura accuracy for all battles. Hitting an enemy with a skill has a chance to dispel a buff from the enemy. Fairly decent. It's not the best chance at 50% once you tome him, but it's decent. And then the accuracy penalty, I think is not matching his skill that good, you know, to have that accuracy penalty. Is not even 100% chance. It's only going to be
No,
a
nothing is 100%
60%.
in his kit. That's the problem with him. Even the attack down he will do on his ultimate, it's only going to affect only 3 teams, so you cannot
Yeah.
use him in PvE. But in PvE, it's only 60%. Like,
Yeah.
that's just very
Weak sauce. Yeah.
RNG. Yeah.
Awesome stuff, dude. So this would do the necrotic epics.
Yeah, unfortunately, not a lot of necrotic epics that are strong. There are only a few which are like worth mentioning here.
Yeah.
Irma, for example, is new and is interesting to try out. But overall, I feel like they're very weak sauce.
I like Questa. I like Tia. I wouldn't mind Zlot to try it out a bit to play it and stuff. But I feel like Irma, decent. The rest are not that impressive to kind of like make me go crazy after them. And I'm not a big fan of just using the summoners as they are at the moment.
Yeah, summoners definitely need somewhat of a changes. Hopefully, they will bring it out within the season. In mid-season, they have some balance changing to buff them or remove some of the bugs that happen, so we can actually build a summon team. They're very cool to play with, but yeah, it's in a competitive environment you won't be able to compete. That's the problem with them.
Awesome
but that's
stuff.
what's pretty much it, guys. Scratch, thanks for coming over. It was great having you here.
Pleasure as always.
And we'll see you next time.
Peace.